देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतिसे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रा सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। आई एम वेरी सॉरी beginning late. Uh, so yesterday night only I was informed that I have to give class today. So since yesterday we had a very enlightening interaction with His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, and Prabhuji was speaking about humility a lot, you know, and many devotees after the class they were having, you know, a lot of discussions and doubts regarding humility and pridelessness. So I thought that in the similar line, we'll discuss about the lessons of humility and sincerity from the life of Rupa Goswami visiting Jagannath Puri. है ना? So Rupa Goswami visit to Jagannath Puri we'll discuss. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila Part 1. I think Prabhuji is bringing. Okay. So Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So so Rupa Goswami visiting Jagannath Puri. So before this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already given instruction to Rupa Goswami. है ना? For how many days he gave? 10 days. Where? Which place? हाँ Prabhu? हाँ, Dash Ashram Mega Ghat. He gave the instruction. But still, now Rupa Goswami is again coming to Jagannath Puri. Again. Yes? To take association. So Rupa Goswami is not satisfied simply that, okay, I met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He gave me 10 days of course. है ना? Whatever we can say, DYS or whatever. है ना? Whatever course he has given, now enough. Now I am ready to do the service. है ना? Association of associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Rupa Goswami in Vrindavan, he cannot find so many intimate associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rather, it is said that there are many associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who never visited Vrindavan in their whole life. Yes, this is very surprising. Can any devotee name one such very close associate who never visited Vrindavan in his whole life? Okay. We don't have a history that she went or not. There's no history that she went, but we also don't have a proof that she didn't go. I want the valid proof. Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit in his whole life never saw the face of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Yes, and like that there are many other associates. And why they did like that? Because Sri Jagannath Puri for Gaudiya Vaishnava is much more important place, than any other dham of this world. So Jagannath Puri, I remember that this one Madhvanand Prabhu. the disciple of Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj. The Gaur Govind Maharaj has entrusted him to do research into Jagannath Puri. Yes. So he says Jagannath Puri, he gives one very wonderful name. He says Gaurya University for Braj Prem. है ना? Yes, our destination is Braj. Yes. But the university to learn है ना, what is Braj Prem is Jagannath Puri. And that's why there are many associates who practically never even desire to go out of Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was more eager to go to Vrindavan. But many of his associates, they were simply happy being in Jagannath Puri. You know, and that's why Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he says in one of his literature that in my next life, if I have to take rebirth in one of the Krishna Leela, if I have to take a birth in a Krishna Leela, do you know where I will take birth? Which Leela I will participate? He says that I want to be born near Kurukshetra. Because Kurukshetra, there is a maximum need of seva. Why there is a maximum need of seva? Because Radha Rani is in great distress. To pacify Srimati Radha Rani, I want to take birth in Kurukshetra. Because she is in the highest level of separation from Krishna in Kurukshetra. So this is the place where I want to take birth. And that's why Sri Jagannath Puri is a very, very intimate place. Very, very intimate place. And there, Madhavanand Prabhu, he has formed one research institute. So, if you see many Bengali and Odia songs, which is written, so in the Bengali songs, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mainly Gaura. They say him Gaura, Gaura. But you will find many Odia songs. There are some associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who have written about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Odia songs, and they don't say him Gaura. They say him Gora. है ना? Gora. है ना? They don't say him Gaur. है ना? Gaur. है ना? So somehow some language. है ना? So he said Gora. Gaudiya Udiya Research Association. So this is how. So he has named his research institute as Gora. So this is how many Odia devotee poets have written Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name in their song. So that's become Gaudiya Udiya and Research Association. This is how he want to do the research. And very beautifully he was telling ki the significance of Jagannath Puri is that we have three subject matters: Sambandh, Abhideya and Prayojan. So Madhavanand Prabhu was very beautifully explaining that Odisha is the Prayojan state of our Sampradaya, Prayojan state. And that's why three deities. We have Radha, Madan Mohan for Sambandha. Abhideya is Govinda Dev. And Prayojan is what? Gopinath. And that's why he told ki the entrance to the Jagannath Puri starts from Remuna. And in Remuna, which is the predominant deity? Gopinath. And then when you enter Jagannath Puri, among all the Radha Krishna temple, which is the most important temple? Tota Gopinath. So he told Odisha is a state of Gopinath, who is a Prayojan. And that's why he was telling ki Odisha is a Prayojan state for us. So, so that was very amazing to hear. Because this is where, this is the state, this is the area where one learn the Prayojan Gyan. What is Prayojan Gyan? This is the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited the highest level of ecstasy, Prayojan. So this was very amazing. And then Further, he told something about Jagannath Puri very unique. In Jagannath Puri, we see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was putting his hand on Stamba, taking darshan. I think many devotees would have observed that three marks of his finger on the Stamba, there's a depression, three finger stamp on the Stamba from where he used to see Jagannath. Like that in Jagannath Puri, there are some instances where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ecstasy went to such a high level that he left the marks on the rock. What is the song which says the mark on the stone? Parama Karuna, Pahu Dui Jana, Nitaya Gaur Chandra, Pashu Pakhi Jhure, Pashana Vidare, Suni Jara, Gun Gatha. So this Pashana Vidare, if something can melt stone also, you can imagine the elevated position of that ecstasy, which can melt the stone. And he told that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't melt much of the stones. We don't have much description of him melting the stone even when he was in Vrindavan, even when he was in Mayapur. But the melting of the stone is predominantly this Leela happened in Jagannath Puri. So this was so amazing. Then, then he was telling that okay, Jagannath Puri is one thing. Then what is the difference between Mayapur and Jagannath Puri? There are many intimate Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his associates, which happened in Mayapur also, and latter second phase of it happened in Puri also. What is the difference? And he went to explain something about in Ras Leela. So there are two types of Ras Leela. One is known as Panchayati Ras Leela. So what is Panchayati Ras Leela? So in village we have Panchayat. Do you know what is the meaning of Panchayat? Panchayat means open house. Like we have open house debate, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, hai na? Like people from here. So there's a Panchayat means open house. So I think this year only, last year 2025, in Kartik month we had association of Bhakti Vikas Maharaj. He came for one day. I think many devotees know. He came for one day and gave an evening class. That class was all about whole 1 hour. Maharaj was explaining how different devotees in different leelas in different parts of the universe became gopis in Ras Leela. Like how Ram, that Rishichari gopis, how they became. There were some dam shells of demigods. They also, some of them became gopis there. There are some ladies from Mithila. They also became gopis in Ras Leela. Because when Ramchandra went to take the hand of Mother Sita, at that time, other ladies told, "We also want to marry you. Why you are only taking Mother Sita?" And then Lord Ram told, "Next time, you also invited." So Krishna, in his different avatars, when he came on this earth, he gave invitation letter to many of the devotees to get accumulated in Krishna's pastime. And at that time, in that Panchayati Ras Leela, there were so many varieties of gopis. Shrutichari gopis also. There are some, Vedic literatures also personified who came. Shrutichari, Rishichari, Mithila, demigods. So like that, varieties of came, and there was variety. But in that particular Ras Leela of Panchayati Ras Leela, somehow Radha Rani and intimate sakhis like Lalita and Vishakha, they were not satisfied. They were telling you, what is this Krishna? पूरा पंचायत लगा दिया है आपने, है ना? हर तरह के लोग यहाँ पे आ गए, है ना? Everything. We want some intimate moments with you. This is not the way you treat us. And that's why after that Panchayati Ras Leela took place, Krishna performed one more Ras Leela at Chandra Sarovar. In that Chandra Sarovar Ras Leela, there were only Radha Rani and Ashtasakhi. That's all. There were no other Rishichari, Shrutichari, Mithila, demigods, nothing. That was the most intimate, and that was the Ras Leela which fully satisfied the heart and minds of Srimati Radha Rani and other intimate gopis. So now Mayapur is like Panchayati Ras Leela, where everybody is coming. Srivas Thakur also came. Advaita Acharya with his Dadi is also coming. Sachi Mata is also coming. Come on, mother of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Means nobody takes his mother for a honeymoon. Yes. So even his mother is also there. Yes. So it's like a Panchayati Ras Leela. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given full access to variety of devotees. But Jagannath Puri is Chandra Sarovar Ras Leela. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there enjoyed Harinam Sankirtan with variety of devotee, but in that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not satisfied. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not satisfied? Because he is Radha. Just like Radha Rani was not satisfied in group Ras Leela, similarly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not satisfied. Because in that Ras Leela, he was not able to fulfill what he came for. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for what purpose? He came for variety of purpose. But one of the purpose was to experience the mood of Srimati Radharani. And that was not able to fully manifest in Mayapur. The variety of devotees, different rasa, somebody having a little opulent mood also. Somebody seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his son, like Sachi Mata. Yes. But that unfulfilled desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Srimati Radharani's mood, got fulfilled properly where? In Jagannath Puri. And in Jagannath Puri, just like I told, in that Chandra Sarovar Ras Leela, who were there? Only Radharani and Ashtasakhi. And that's why in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela in Jagannath Puri, who were there? Swarup Damodar and Ramanand Rai. Only Radharani, Lalita, Vishakha, and Krishna in the form of holy name. That's all. Very intimate pastime. So that was very amazing to hear. And that's why Rupa Goswami, he is, although he is allocated the highest, best dham of this universe, Vrindavan, the service, he is given the service at the highest dham, but still he want to come to Jagannath Puri to take that deep association. Because although, so we can say that Vrindavan for Rupa Goswami was his job place. In the job offer letter it is written, you are allocated this post in this company at this location, Gurgaon, Bangalore, something like that. Yes. So but so now when the company recruit, they have one training session also. Generally the training is in very good places. Just like those people who become IES, IPS, UPSC selected in Masuri, I think they have one training center where for few months they spend. So many companies, Google, Microsoft, they have some months of training in some very good location. In that, so that training place is different from job location. So the job location of Rupa Goswami is Vrindavan, but his training is taking place in Jagannath Puri because that's the university. So, and that's why Rupa Goswami came to Jagannath Puri to learn what is Braj Prem. Because all these people who know actually what is Braj Prem, they are residing where? Jagannath Puri. All the teachers, all the guides, all the mentors, their location is where? Jagannath Puri. And of course, he had co-employees, senior employees like Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami can be compared to senior employee for Rup Goswami. We had Loknath Goswami. And they were like project managers. And so, although these people were staying in Vrindavan, but the actual mentors, teachers, professors, they were staying where? Jagannath Puri. And that's why he had to come there. So, what is the lesson number one which we can learn from Rupa Goswami visit to Jagannath Puri is that we may be doing our seva in any center. We may be running any youth center. We may be in charge of any extension center, or we have you know, what we call it remote. What is the name of that center? Something we say. Okay, huh? Satellite. Yes, yes, exact. That word I was selecting. Satellite center. Yes. So we can have many. Although we may go to satellite, but we must come back to Earth from time to time. So that's why we may be running our youth center. We may be very busy in our services, but from time to time we should keep coming to the reservoir of association, to take association. And that's why any senior devotee come, there should be great eagerness in all the leaders, although they may be guiding thousands of people in their centers, but they should have a humility to know that all my strength, all my ability to do the service is actually coming from the source. And that's why all the who we may be preaching in any remote corner of Bangalore or outside Bangalore or wherever, whenever there is any opportunity of sangha with very senior devotees should make it a priority to come here, and take the sangha, devotee sangha, and then again go back. And that's why like Devaki Mataji, in his she has written a very wonderful book, Sheltering Relationship. Yes, by the mercy of His Grace Keshav Kripa Prabhu, somehow I got to read that book. Prabhuji recommended me that you should read this book. So I was reading the book. Mataji was examining why does it happen that somebody is preaching, holding a good responsibility, some wonderful results are also coming, and still that person becomes spiritually weak. Still that person becomes sometimes even so-called fall down, or whatever we can say terminologies. Why does it happen? Because so she was examining the history of many leaders in last 50 years, and she concluded that one of the reason is that the leaders were not eager to take the sangha of their equals, sangha of very senior devotees. Because what happens that when we come to the sangha, we feel like an ant. In our own center, we feel like an elephant. कि है ना, I am the leader, है ना, जो मैं बोलता हूँ लोग सुनते हैं. I can do things as per my plan. I can take whatever classes I want. We feel like an elephant. But when we come to the sangha, हमको लगता है ये वहां preaching कर रहा है, ये वहां preaching कर रहा है, मैंने सिर्फ 500 भक्त बनाए, इसमें 1000 बना दिए. I open only one youth center, he is open 2 youth centers. And suppose some senior devotee comes, like Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, and when he is sitting on Vyasasan, so that time so we feel that we don't have any existence only. by seeing by seeing the achievement of those senior devotees, we feel कि हमारा कोई existence है ही नहीं शायद, है ना. And that's why we don't want to come to sangha, because our false ego want to keep feeling that the importance in our own small wells. So each center can be like one well or whatever, and there we are feeling that I am Mr. Frog, and that's why we don't want to come to the Atlantic Ocean, because there whales and dolphins and whales and sharks are there, and we will realize our tininess in front of them. Timingala, Timingala fishes are there, and that's why we don't want to come. But see the example of Rupa Goswami. He's still coming. And that's why you should again and again and again come to keep taking the deep association. So that's lesson number one. Well, when Rupa Goswami finally reached to Jagannath Puri, so can any devotee tell which place he stayed, where he found accommodation, where his accommodation was arranged? Haridas Thakur, Siddha Bakula. Although he can stay many, many places, if he demands, he was earlier a minister, he could be given very nice place. Yes. But so lesson number two from Haridas Thakur's, that even when maybe we come to the sangha, you know, we should be we should be respectful in general, but we should be very specific and choosy in whom we associate with. You know. In general, our pranams is to all devotees, but when it comes to really associate our heart with, you know, we should choose those devotees who are very attached to the holy name, who are very attached to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, who are very attached to Srimad Bhagavatam. Like Rupa Goswami chose Haridas Thakur. This devotee, is really, it's worth taking his association. We should not choose some devotee, who in 2 hours is, mobile पे लगा हुआ है, who is a real kind of नहीं होता है, खाली somebody is making real, or somebody is working in some Google Microsoft and we sit near him in prasadam and we have 1 hour discussion कि प्रभु जी Google में application कैसे डालना है ना, all those things. That's also okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong in that. We can have all this kind of free laser time with devotees also. But when it comes to really associating our heart with, we should choose somebody who's very focused and sincere in devotional service, who is really heading fast towards back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime. To such devotees, we should seek, we should sit with them, we should talk with them. We may read, we can do some book reading with them, we can do some Guhyam Akhyati Prichati with them. We can ask them, what is inspiring them in bhakti, and we can ask them the secret. So this is very, very amazing. So now in Jagannath Puri, uh, Rupa Goswami, he generally maintained a very humble role. Yes. So another important thing is that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave lot of importance to Rupa Goswami, but you know that when Rupa Goswami dealing with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami never endeavored to enter into the inner circle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in any important person, whether it's senior devotees, Maharajas, or even Supreme Personality of Godhead who comes, we may find that there are multiple circles, concentric circles. There's an inner circle, like when Krishna came. For Krishna, what was the inner circle? The queens who were there, Uddhav, they were inner circle. And there are some outer circles also. Like we may have some ministers whom Krishna, who will be reporting to Krishna, yes, etc. Then there are other outer circles and outer circles, like other citizens of Dwarka, who will simply happen to, when Krishna is passing, just take a glance at max greeting. That's all. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came, he had a very inner circle. Who were there in the inner circle? Swarup Damodar, Ramanand Rai. They were very inner circle. Then there were some other outer circle, like we had Kasi Mishra, we had the this priest of Jagannath Puri, who were little outer circle, and there were other outer circle. So although Rupa Goswami is very important person, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving lot of value to Rupa Goswami, but Rupa Goswami never dared or endeavored to enter into the inner circle. He maintained his maryada. Maryada is what? He knew that I am junior in age, I am junior in realization, I am junior in the entry in Krishna consciousness also, the date in which we entered. है ना? Rupa Goswami knew that. He knew, what is his position. Ki compared to this stalwart like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramanand Rai, Prakash, what is it? Swarup Damodar, and then Pratap Rudra. So there were many, Paramanand Puri, Brahmanand Bharati, and so all, compared to all these devotees, I can never be part of that inner circle. That is not my adhikar. And that's why uh, many times when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be taking prasad, so many devotees will sit near him. But Rupa Goswami, along with Haridas Thakur, will be outside the that inner area where prasadam is being taken. They will be that outside, and they will get something they will eat. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while he is eating, and his inner circle people are sitting, that time he will observe, अरे रूप और हरिदास वहां पे खड़े हैं, they are standing there, and then he will request to one of his devotee कि please take my maha maha, है ना, of course, है ना, and give to Rupa Goswami and Haridas Thakur. So Rupa Goswami maintained his adhikar. He never endeavored to enter the inner circle. It's not that ki Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has certified me as Rasacharya. You know, I am the person who will be the torchlight of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy. So मेरा भी तो जगह बनता है, in one of the MP, MPs or MLA. Yes. So Rupa Goswami never endeavored to do that. He maintained his adhikar that I am very junior. And he saw, and see, this is the beauty. See, in Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami is a very special person. Everybody worship Rupa Goswami in Vrindavan. For Vrindavan, Rupa Goswami is an acharya actually. That's why Guru Purnima, which happens, Guru Purnima is mainly celebrated for whom? Sanatan Goswami. So Sanatan and Rup, they had a very special position in Vrindavan. See, this is the benefit of coming to Puri. In Puri, Rupa Goswami is a very secondary person. Yes. This is the beauty of coming to Sangha, where in front of all the stalwart devotee, we are bound to feel that I am very small. Like recently, I went to Udupi for book distribution for 5 days along with devotees. Sometimes in my college days or earlier, sometime in trains, we used to distribute books. Sometimes few books used to go, and we used to feel proud. कि मैंने इतना book distribute किया. But when I went to Udupi with and I saw the brahmacharis, continuously for so many weeks, every day practically, distributing, 5,000, 6,000 books practically went. Yes, from morning till night, by seeing their means endeavors, by seeing their enthusiasm, I was practically feeling like an ant. I was just feeling, my God, I'm, I'm nothing. I have to learn from them. Yes? So that's the beauty. So that's lesson number 3. That Rupa Goswami never endeavored to enter into the inner circle. He maintained his adhikar outside. That's another thing. Fourth lesson, and very important lesson. In Jagannath Puri, one very important instance happened. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in front of Jagannath Rath cart, and suddenly he started singing a film song, Priyosi Asmi. There is one song. We start with Priyosi Asmi. He, you are my very dear. I am your very dear. Some movie song was there. It's just like currently we have movie songs. Similarly, that time that लोकप्रिय songs कि तुम मुझसे मुझे प्रिय हो, मैं तुम्हारा प्रिय हूँ, है ना, तुम कहाँ चले गए हैं, क्या तुम वही हो जो पहले थे, है ना. So all this kind of things, stuffs Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was singing, and many people were getting confused कि ये क्या हो रहा है? Why such a sannyasi, है ना? Why such a sannyasi has become so sentimental? He's singing all these songs. So Rupa Goswami, he takes one palm leaf, है ना? And he writes one shloka, which tells the essence of that. And what is the essence of that song? Why Chetan Mahaprabhu is saying कि क्या तुम वही lover हो जो पहले प्यार करते थे? In the sense that he actually explained it. What does it mean? This mean that are you the same Krishna who used to be like a three bending, very playful, in his peak of the youth, standing in the beautiful Vrindavan with full moon, reddish hue of that Purnima moon, and then there were some flowers and the smell of the flowers all around the forest and beautiful Yamuna flowing, and you are very playful actually, and you danced so wonderfully with all of us, and now you are standing with that crown, ghoda, rath, very formal, just like a king. Are you that same? So he explained it very beautifully. And and how did, you know uh, so then how did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually came to know it? Can somebody tell? How did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know that Rupa Goswami has written that shloka? Yes, Prabhuji? Yes, yes. It Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. So uh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he saw that, this one. So did you see? It's such a important, Python code decoded, है ना? इतना important secret को किसी ने decode किया है. Now Rupa Goswami is not like, है ना, he's going with his palm leaf and telling कि मैंने decode कर लिया, है ना? You want to know what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? I understood the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally. है ना? Yes. कोई नहीं समझ पाया, मैं समझ लिया, है ना? It was just discovered, है ना? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu practically lifted Rupa Goswami, है ना? And he slapped him, है ना? In love. He told, hey, how you came to know what I am thinking? Because I am thinking what Radha Rani thinks. And how you came to, and Radha Rani Mahabhav is not, copyable. Nobody can copy it. It's single piece, है ना? It's a single piece. तो तुमको कैसे पता चल गया ये इतना इंटीमेट चीज, है ना? See, ठीक है, Rupa Goswami is very highly elevated, but still he is a Manjari, and even Manjaris have their own adhikar. Manjaris also, okay, they have very high level of emotions, understandable. They are very elevated, but still the Mahabhav of Radha Rani, it's nowhere comparable. And then Mahaprabhu saying कि ये कैसे हो गया? And then he's telling to Sarup Damodar, how he came to know. ठीक है, तुमको कभी कभी कोई चीज पता चल जाती है क्योंकि तुम ललिता विशाखा सखी हो, है ना? दिन भर मेरे साथ ही रहते हो, तो कुछ चीजें तुम्हें पता चल जाती है, that's still acceptable. But how this person came to know? Chetan Mahaprabhu was very surprised. And then Sarup Damodar told, you see, uh, unless you have favored, he will not know. So you only have made some mistake, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by which it got leaked. So that leakage which happened, so they told कि you only has not put enough security code to your prema, by which it got leaked. You only has done mistake, and now don't blame that how it got leaked. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, yeah. When I met him, in Prayagraj, at that time I found him so sincere, so worthy of recipient of my mercy, that when I embraced him, somehow thoda sa transfer ho gaya, है ना? So I have actually, somehow in Prayagraj I was overwhelmed by seeing his sincerity, and I leaked it. Paper leak कर दिया मैंने, है ना? जो भी है. And then he told, and in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes very beautiful things. He write actual seva is done, you know, when Krishna actually inspire. See, one thing is that we are trying to serve Krishna, but you know what is the actually service? असली सेवा का क्या मतलब है? देखिए, अभी हम अपने कंटामिनेटेड सेंसेस को लेके किसी तरह हाथ पांव मार रहे हैं कृष्णा को सेवा करने का. दैट्स वन थिंग. सो एनर्जी इज फ्लोइंग फ्रॉम आवर साइड टू कृष्णा. But seva means one day when Krishna developed trust to on you, one day when Krishna becomes satisfied that this person has actually won my trust. Now I am ready to empower him. And when Krishna start using as an instrument, that is seva. That's the meaning of seva. When Krishna starts moving your hands and legs, nachao nachao, प्रभु से नचाओ. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ सेवा. फिर उससे पहले हम कर क्या रहे हैं? क्या वो सेवा नहीं है? यस, दैट इज ऑल्सो सेवा, बट वो हम अपना हाथ पांव मार मार रहे हैं बस. इन विल्डरनेस है ना, somehow trying to please Krishna. But actual seva is when the reverse, है ना, when the direction is reverse, not from you to Krishna, but Krishna starts flowing energy through you. That's the seva. And this is the seva which Rup and Sanatan are doing. Before this, before meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rup and Sanatan were doing first kind of seva. They were moving their hand and leg. Hai na? We want to meet you. We want to meet you. They were writing letters. And when Mahaprabhu met them in Ramakeli, hai na, and he was so pleased with them. And then Mahaprabhu told that I will use both of you as my instruments in Vrindavan. And then he started using them. And that is actual seva. That seva is the seva, hai na, which can bring, hai na, actual transformation in the life of people. See, हम preaching तो हम लोग भी करते हैं. Preaching we also do, and preaching is done by pure devotees also. दोनों में अंतर क्या है? We are just using our, है ना, passion into compassion. We have lot of passion. हम यहाँ पे हम, है ना, मंदिर में बैठ नहीं सकते हैं. मंदिर में बैठेंगे तो खाली, है ना, प्रजल्पा करेंगे, पॉलिटिक्स करेंगे. इसलिए हम लोग को बोल दिया जाता है कि लो किताब, है ना, निकलो यहाँ पे तंग मत करो, है ना. And then we go, है ना, we have our certain talent, है ना. Somebody is good in speaking, है ना. So he is told कि तुम क्लास दे दो, है ना. तुम कुछ अच्छा, कुछ परंपरा में कुछ पढ़ लो, है ना. उसको अपने वर्ड्स में कुछ क्लास दे दो, है ना. Somebody is good in management, उसको बोला जाता है तुम वॉइस जाके, है ना, खोलो, तुम ये करो वो करो. Somebody is good in cooking, उसको बोले किचन में लगा दो, है ना. Okay, that's all, है ना. So this is, we are trying to endeavor, but actual seva happen, है ना, when the pure devotees, when they preach. So, you know, so I remember that this Madhva Sampradaya, Pejawar Math Swami, what is his name? Current Sugnendra Swami, some, हाँ current, हाँ, yes, Vishweshwar Tirth Maharaj है ना, successor, yes. Now he was once glorifying Srila Prabhupada, and he very beautifully glorified Srila Prabhupada. He told, when Prabhupada went to West, Bhakti Devi was practically sitting on the tongue head of Srila Prabhupada. And whomever he spoke, whomever he met, Bhakti Devi from his head and from his, है ना, mouth jumped into their heart and made them pure devotee. And he told, if you don't accept this logic, then what other logic can explain that how can somebody eating cow meat, है ना, fully drowned into intoxication, can suddenly become such a, है ना, sincere Krishna devotee, and they have become acharyas now, है ना. And he told it happened because Srila Prabhupada was a carrier. Bhakti Devi was sitting on the vehicle of Srila Prabhupada, and wherever Prabhupada went, Bhakti Devi used to jump into his heart, है ना. Prabhupada want to show mercy on this person, talk, this person, talk. Prabhupada glanced there, talk, है ना. सबके अंदर फिट हो गई भक्ति देवी. वो ऐसे, है ना. इट इज नॉट लाइक आवर प्रीचिंग जहां पे हम कन्विंस करते हैं यार मान जाओ यार, जपा कर लो यार, है ना, एक माला तो कर लो यार, है ना, एक साल हो गया है प्रसाद खाते खाते, है ना. तो दैट इज नॉट लाइक आवर प्रीचिंग, है ना. और वी वांट टू ब्रिंग नंबर फॉर अस कि आवर है ना, यूथ प्रीचिंग इंचार्ज विल आस्क कि एक साल से सेंटर खुला है, क्या हुआ? तो somehow, है ना, just to, है ना, to be accountable to our authorities, we somehow put some number कि प्रो जी 3 बच्चे शिफ्ट हो गए हैं, है ना. Yeah. And then so that is not like our preaching. So actual preaching happens when, है ना, Krishna starts, the energy is reverse. When your hands, your legs, your mouth become the string, है ना, in the hand of a puppeteer, and Krishna moves, है ना, कि यहाँ, है ना, ऐसा बोलो, वैसा करो, है ना, यहाँ जाओ, वहाँ preaching करो. That's so. This is what happened with Rupa Goswami. है ना, so Rupa Goswami is doing that level of service. And now, yes, so this is another. So now, since the time is already passing, I'll go to immediately to the last lesson. One of the last lesson which we can learn from Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was writing many literatures. Especially, he was working on two of his most important literature. You know, one of his most, you know, although Rupa Goswami has done many work, but there are two works which is very intimate to Rupa Goswami. Very intimate to Rupa Goswami. Two work especially. One is Lalit Madhav and one is Vidak Madhav. Two works. You know? So, uh, so this particular pastime which we are reciting, it took place around 1515 AD around. You know? And Rupa Goswami uh, actually started working on Lalit and Vidak Madhav just 1 year before this. We can say around 1514 or something like that. And he actually completed the book after around 20 years. We can say that 1535 or something like that. He completed. At that time, he was writing Lalit Madhav and Vidag Madhav. And he was really working into it. And this Lalit Madhav and Vidag Madhav, very intense Rasik book. Very intense. You know, means we will read, it will practically be a bouncer. Not even touch our head. है ना, वो कहाँ से चला गया है ना, पता ही नहीं चलेगा. Such intense Rasik book he was writing. And Rupa Goswami, you know, so now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew that he is writing this book. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day he said to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Ramanand Rai, and Swarup Damodar, many people, let's let's come to Siddha Bakul. You know, I want you to examine Rupa Goswami, to test Rupa Goswami, whether he is qualified also to write these books, because these books are going to be testimony of the highest philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. You know, is he really qualified? Now, why is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing it? You know, he's asking Ramanand Rai to test Rupa Goswami. Why Rupa Goswami has to be tested? Why he has to be examined? So this is the last lesson we should learn, that no matter how much senior we become, no matter how much qualified we become, no matter what great preacher we become, we always need testification of our action, speech, and thoughts. At every instance of, like, we had His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, है ना? Almost after spending close to, है ना, 30-40 years in the movement, he finally went to do Bhakti Vaibhav in Vidyapit, है ना? GV Vidyapit, after so much of time. And Radhesham Prabhu, there, you know, even the speakers who used to speak, they used to feel shy. Here, है ना? And they should think कि प्रभु जी अगर आपको कुछ बोलना है तो आप ही कुछ बोल दीजिए, है ना, हम लोग क्या बोलेंगे, है ना. They used to feel like that. But Rajasthan Prabhu said, no, you speak, है ना. He practically used to attend every class. He used to ask doubts. He used to submit timely assignments. है ना. He used to be so serious about his every exam. है ना. So no matter how senior we become, this is not a moment we can say that I have learned enough. Now, whatever I do, that's the है ना, वही वही वेदा हो जाएगा, जो मैं लिख दूं वो वेद है ना, जो मैं बोल दिया वो अथॉरिटी है ना, nobody can say. So even Rupa Goswami, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the Leela he is showing, he is not even having that level of, you know, that kind of thing with Rupa Goswami also. Even for the Rupa Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, you have to come for examination. Where the Rasa, you know, the Rasacharyas, like Ramanand Rai, Swarup Damodar, will validate, will give you blessings so that you become qualified to write it. So even for, you know, Rupa Goswami, he is saying like that. And finally, Rupa Goswami finally comes. He is sitting in that assembly where, you know, um, so Ramanand Rai. So in the Siddha Bakul, I don't know what was the structure earlier. You know, what was the structure of Siddha Bakul earlier? But currently we have, by seeing the broken part of Siddha Bakul, it seems, you know, just a speculation that the there used to be a raised platform, you know, the raised platform, and Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that there was a platform which was little higher than the ground. There used to be ground and there used to be elevated platform. Yes. So Ramanand Rai, Swarup Damodar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these people sat on the platform. And you know, when they sat on the platform, they had a very high regard for Rupa Goswami, very high regard. Although Rupa Goswami is feeling himself lower, but they had very high regard. So they told to Rupa Goswami, why don't you please sit, है ना? Please come and sit. We will do Ishtha Goshti. So see, Ramanand Rai and Swarup Damodar, they never came in the mood of, है ना, कि मैं इसको blessings दूंगा, मैं इसको test करूंगा. They more came in the mood of Ishtha Goshti kind of thing. And that's why they invited Rupa Goswami. He come sit with us. And this is the way even we do our management meetings. है ना? Suppose even we have very senior devotees like Vraj Krishna Prabhu or what. So we see na, they will also sit on the ground, and then we will have a circle where devotees will sit. Even Bhakti Vriksha leader, they will also sit and, है ना, ऐसे था. But Rupa Goswami, he felt disqualified to sit on that platform. He told that my sitting place should be lower than your place. And that's why Rupa Goswami actually sat on the ground. He didn't sit on the platform. The platform was only for the senior devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is another beautiful lesson we can learn. We should always see, always we should look, you know, it's see, even if you become little more lower, that is acceptable. That's why we should always be in the mood of, you know, this following the adhikar, knowing our adhikar, you know, in front of senior devotees. We should always be in the folded palms, है ना, कुछ मिस्टेक ना हो जाए, है ना, फर्स्ट प्रभु यू गो, है ना, so so the, you know, this is the proper etiquette which Rupa Goswami is following. Next, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asks कि चलो ठीक है, start speaking, है ना, what you have written in Lalit Madhav, tell what this Lalit Madhav is all about, tell. Now amazing thing that Rupa Goswami till this time has written some good amount of part of Lalit Madhav. He is not fully completed, but some good amount he has already written, including the introductory verses, you know, and Ishtadeo prayers, you know, the prayojan of the book. So first three verses, like first three verses of Bhagavatam, it explains ki what it is all about, who is the prayer to the Ishtadeo for their mercy. You know? So generally, first three verses of any Puranas or Vedic literature is like that. He has written. So now Ramanand Rai says, so in the examination process, so now this is the humility of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Do you know who was the head examiner among all? Not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramanand Rai. Ramanand Rai was the head examiner. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu put himself aside. He was more like a referee, है ना, जो दोनों के बीच में करा रहे थे, है ना. He was more sitting like a referee. But who was the actual examiner? Ramanand Rai. He was the head. Along of course accompanied by other devotees also, but he was a head examiner, and Rupa Goswami is also sitting. So he was, so this lesson also we can learn कि how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can take a role of examiner, but he is taking the role of a referee, and Ramanand Rai is the examiner. Now starts verse bolo, verse bolo, verse bolo. तो do you know first in order to, जैसे पहला जो है ना, पहला जो होता है, पहला प्रेजेंटेशन, ऐसा ऐसा बोलते हैं ना कि फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन इज द लास्ट इंप्रेशन. तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने सोचा कि पहला क्या ऐसा बुलवाऊं रूप गोस्वामी से, जस्ट टू एस्टैब्लिश हिज ग्लोरी. So do you know what is the first verse which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Rupa Goswami to speak? That same verse which Rupa Goswami wrote on his mood in Rath Yatra, which nobody was able to understand. He said that only three people on this earthly planet were able to understand what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking in Rath Yatra in front of Jagannath. Who are the three people? Rupa Goswami, Swarup Damodar, and Madhavendra Puri. Yes. And that's why he asked him to wo verse bolo. And you know that Rupa Goswami didn't speak that verse. He was feeling so shy to speak that verse. He was not speaking only. Look, bolo, bolo. Because he was feeling so shy. It's just like Prahlad Maharaj. He was feeling so humble in front of Narsimhadev. Then actually Swarup Damodar actually explained that verse. Swarup Damodar had to come in the lead. And he actually started explaining that. But Rupa Goswami was not able to speak only. अरे भाई इतने सारे लोगों के सामने मैं कैसे बोलूं? Because he was the only person who understood. Many big stalwarts actually could not understand. And they started saying, wow, wow, sadhu, sadhu. And next word they asked him to speak was Tunde Tandvini, that very famous verse. And Haridas Thakur became very excited by hearing that. And and then they gradually started examining. And my God, Ramanand Rai was head struck by Rup Goswami's poetry skills. क्या skills था उनका. My God, it was beyond imagination. The type of metaphors, the type of examples he gives. Like for example, in that drama, he writes a very beautiful verse where he explains. I'll just give few examples to know that what was the skill of Rup Goswami. He told Srimati Radharani, she tells to one Sakhi. One Sakhi tells to Radharani, and both are discussing. He tell ki, you know why I started. When was the time I started loving Krishna? In my childhood, I started loving Krishna. You know? And you know that a small child, he doesn't know what is the difference between right and wrong. He doesn't know. You know? The child get attracted to anything which looks little dazzling. The child doesn't know. You know? At that time only, that cunning Krishna somehow showed his super excellent qualities and sweet words, and he attracted my mind towards him. And when now I am coming to my youth, you know, I am realizing that what big mistake I did in my childhood. You know. As a child, I didn't know what is right and wrong, and I got attracted. And now I am realizing that how cunning this person is. What big mistake I did. And then Rupa Goswami further explains, and Rupa Goswami in his whole literature. So this is all drama actually, which is going on. He gives the description of Vrindavan. He gives amazing. The separation of Radharani from Krishna. The examples he gives. He says there is one tree. From that tree, one river originates. That river has that river is so flowing fast, it breaks the bridge, and in between there are big boulders. That river takes turn, and finally it enters the sea. And do you know what he says? That tree is the husband of Radharani, and the river is the Radharani. The bridge is the social custom which she breaks, and the big boulders from which the river bypasses are the relatives of Radharani. This is the beautiful example he gives. And then he says that ki the he says that the description of Radha Rani to a lotus. First of all, he says when Radha Rani smiles. How many of you have seen the smiling face of Radha Rani in Radha Shyam Sundar in Vrindavan? Radha Rani is slightly smiling. Hai na? He says that as soon as Radharani smiles, her lips like that, it feels that the ocean of bliss has got accumulated in the cheeks of Srimati Radharani. And he says that the face of Radharani is not like one lotus. The face of Radharani is like there's a group of many lotuses at one place. This is what it looks like. And then right in the next verse, he says, sorry, sorry. And lotus is a bad example because that lotus, it blooms in the night time and it shrinks in the daytime. Yeah. And there are other things which open in the day and shrinks in the night. There are other things which glow in the night and see moon also है ना नाइट में दिखता है रात में नहीं दिखता है कुछ इधर दिन में दिखती है रात में नहीं दिखती है बट राधा रानी is glowing even in the day and night. So what a bad example is this lotus है ना जो सिर्फ है ना एक टाइम खिलता है एक टाइम नहीं खिलता है. And like that, he says flute. So Ramanand Rai says, okay, in your whole drama in Lalit Madhav, how you have introduced the flute? Flute को आपने कैसे introduce किया है? And then he says, one gopi is saying to flute, कि flute, you are very straight and simple. How, why you participate in, because how Krishna attract gopis from their houses? Flute. But you are so simple and straightforward. Why you participate with Krishna in doing something cunning? And then right in the next verse, he changes the allegory. He says, oh flute, you seems to be very faulty. You have many holes, which describe your emptiness, hollowness. But how you have become so glorious in the hands of Krishna. So at one time they are glorifying flute that you are very simple, but still you are participating in a cunning pastime. At next they are saying, oh flute, you are not so good, but you have become glorious in Krishna's hand. And he describes how the flute is 3 palms length, like that he says. And he says that in one end of the flute there is bedecked with one kind of jewel, other end is bedecked with another kind of jewel, and in between it is wrapped with the golden something like so so when all the description gets over, Ramanand Rai says, you know Rupa Goswami, your poetic skill is beyond and beyond, and I cannot even imagine. It's like an ocean, its depth cannot be known. And then he says, you know that when you are singing your poetry, it went into my heart, but before entering into my heart, it stuck my head so hard that my head starts spinning. जैसे कोई बहुत फास्ट चीज होती है ना आप इसको फेंकते हो अल्टीमेटली इट ब्रेक्स समथिंग बट इन बिटवीन इट समथिंग कम्स इट सिंपली स्पिन्स इट. So he Ramanand Rai says you're so see I only told the meaning of it. You read the Sanskrit, your mind will start really blowing. It's so super excellent. Means as a very conditioned soul, I'm very poor, very poor recitation of what Rup Goswami has written, actually written. I'm practically feeling very helpless and very small to even just read and copy what Rup Goswami is saying. Even to even just to memorize it and speak it. Even in that, I'm feeling very helpless. What Rup Goswami has actually written. So go and read it. What Rup Goswami has actually written in Lalit Madhav and Vidak. Just some see, we are not qualified to read Lalit Madhav, Vidak Madhav. But thanks to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he has given some glimpse of what is Lalit and Vidak Madhav in his Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, then that's wrong. See, it moved. It सोचिए रामानंद राय का हेड घूम गया, ये क्या लिख दिया भाई, है ना? ऐसा भी होता है लिटरेचर, this type of analogies, the type of these things. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, that's why I chose him na. What do you think? अब चैतन्य महाप्रभु को वैलिडेट कर रहे हैं, है ना? So it looks that, है ना, it's not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only wanted to examine Rup Goswami, but he also want to show to his other associates कि, है ना, कि मैंने किसको पकड़ा है ना, कि ऐसे वैसे को नहीं पकड़ा है लिखने के लिए, है ना? And that's why it's, रामानंद राय का हेड घूमने लग गया. And he told, and then Ramanand Rai, you know what was the conclusion of Ramanand Rai finally? Ki Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my humble thought, I feel that no worldly human being can write like this. No worldly, only Supreme Personality Godhead can write like this. So I doubt that have you transferred your some inner substance to him? Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again speak that verse. हाँ, I met him in Prayagraj, है ना? I saw him very sincere, है ना? And somehow I became merciful to him, and somehow I embraced him, and my, है ना, this got transferred, and that's why, we would, and of course then Rup Goswami concludes कि रामानंद राय आप मेरे को क्या ग्लोरीफाई कर रहे हो, आपके सामने कौन बोल सकता है ना? रामानंद राय was very expert in dramas, arts, and those things. Only you are the king of drama. In front of you, what I can speak, what drama I can write. I'm just doing my simple effort and those things. So very beautiful this was. So I will end with that verse which we every day recite. And please try to understand the meaning of this verse from this whole Leela. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. Everybody understand? Sri Chaitanya Man Abhishtam. See, this is the meaning of it. Rup Goswami has downloaded, all the script of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. Radha Rani's heart is downloaded into Rup Goswami's system. Sri Chaitanya Man Abhistam. And then Stapitam Yena Bhutale. उसको तो एक मन में डाउनलोड करके खुद रिलीज करो, लेकिन स्थापितम ये ना भूतले का मतलब ललित माधव एंड विदग माधव लिखो उसके ऊपर, है ना? एंड टू सिंप्लीफाई इट मोर, राइट टू मोर लिटरेचर्स. व्हाट इज दैट? भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु एंड उपदेशामृत, मोर सिंप्लीफाइड वर्जन. सो श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टम स्थापितम ये न भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यम. So that's why this last line, है ना, we offer our pranams to Srila Rupa Goswami. You have actually downloaded the mercy of, है ना. So just one thing I forgot. Okay, so we told that the first three verses of any literature describe the goal of that literature, East Dev prayer and everything. When Ramanand Rai asked, see, what is the first verse? First verse of Lalit Madhav is where Rup Goswami says that this Krishna Leela is like intense thick yogurt mixed with good, and it has become such a sweet preparation. It can satisfy the heart and mind of anybody. Please, in my book, I am distributing that yogurt good. That substance I am distributing through my book. That's the first verse of Lalit Madhav. Second verse is the prayer to the Ishtadev, where you beg mercy from Ishtadev. Like for Chaitanya Charitamrita, who is the Ishtadev? Madan Mohanji. And another Ishtadev from whom Rup Goswami again and again ask mercy. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pada Jara Asa Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Dasa. Rup and Raghunath. Again and again beg mercy. Now for the Lalit Madhav, this रामानंद राय इज आस्किंग इष्ट देव का प्रेयर तो बोलो, इष्ट देव का प्रेयर. पहला तो एक मजा आ गया वो योगर्ट और कैंडी का जो आपने बताया कि कृष्ण लीला इज लाइक दैट योगर्ट कैंडी का मिक्सर है, मैं डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहा हूँ, सब लोग खाओ और संतुष्ट हो जाओ. बहुत अच्छा लगा. अब इष्ट देव बोलो, इष्ट देव बोलो. रूप गोस्वामी बोल ही नहीं रहे थे, बोला कि नो नो नो, इसको छोड़ दो ना, इसको स्किप कर दो. थर्ड वर्स पे आते हैं ना, नहीं बोलो ना इष्ट देव प्रेयर. वी ऑल आर ईगर टू हियर, आवर ईयर्स आर, है ना, इचिंग टू हियर कि, है ना, हु इज योर इष्ट देव एंड व्हाट यू हैव प्रेड, And do you know who was? They were expecting that Rup Goswami will speak, है ना, कि my East Dev is है ना Radha Govind or Radha Gopinath, something he will pray. And generally East Dev is like that. See, for Bhagavatam, who is the East Dev? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The Vasudev is the East Dev for Bhagavatam, and that's written in the first three verses of any literature. The East Dev prayer. और उसका it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Or in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how can you tell his name कि my East Dev is you? उसको उनको रूप गोस्वामी को प्रैक्टिकली बहुत इंस्टिगेट करना पड़ा, अरे बोल दो यार अब, है ना, इतना क्या शर्माना, बोल दो. And Mahaprabhu and Ramananda, everybody is sitting, and as soon as Mahaprabhu he hears that I am your East Dev, and when first of all, what is the second verse? Second verse is कि that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, without his mercy, Krishna Krishna Leela was hidden. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. What was a secret for many yugas of universes has now getting revealed, है ना, through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart. That's okay. That's the East Dev. As soon as Mahaprabhu hears, he plucked his ears. He says to Rup Goswami, your every literature is very nice. है ना, तुमने सब कुछ अच्छा लिखा है, ये बीच में एक गड़बड़ कर दिया तुमने, है ना. See, whatever you have written, Lalit Madho is like a nectar. उश, है ना, like a reservoir of nectar. उसमें थोड़ा एक अल्कली डाल दिया, है ना. It has spoiled the whole nectar. Why you did, Rup Goswami? You should not have done. Then immediately Ramanand Rai, do you know what he says? He says, yes, Mahaprabhu, you know, he has added little bit, but I will tell you another analogy. It Lalit Madho is like a kheer, and that one verse is small, na? That one verse is like little camphor, which is put into that kheer. है ना? So camphor, even if you put little small, उसका effect पूरे खीर में आ जाता है. तो although महाप्रभु, see, whole book is about Krishna, but सिर्फ एक वर्ष क्या है महाप्रभु का. So that उस पूरे खीर में क्या डाल दिया, कैम्फर डाल दिया. So East Dev of Chaitanya, so East Dev of Rupa Goswami is who? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we again together we will recite and end the class. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. No, together. Stapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamaya dadati swapadantikam. So let us pray at the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami, and all the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that although that they have ocean of nectar, so at least they can give one drop of that nectar. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. From that Sindhu, let us get one bindu. Let from that Sindhu, let us get one बिंदु. That is our only, है ना. And that's why नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर के से रूप रघुनाथा पदे होइबे आकुति कबे हम बुझा बो से युगल प्रीति. युगल प्रीति is see very is our actually prayojan, है ना. युगल प्रीति is our prayojan, and without his mercy we cannot understand. But before that, है ना, so before entering Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, so I will say that the whole flow is like that: Upadeshamrit, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, then Lalit Madhav and Vidag Madhav. And that's why the starting is Upadeshamrit. And what is the Upadeshamrit's first verse? Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodhe Vegam. So let's start from there. So, so the whole process of knowing the Yugala Preeti, and whole process of knowing all these esoteric things which we have discussed just now, will start from Vacho Vegam. So I'm very sorry to add little alkali in the end. So, hello class. जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय.